Michigan residents will soon be able to apply for an ID card to purchase medical marijuana. The Michigan Department of Community Health will begin taking applications Saturday. Patients need to show a doctor's note to get the card. The law approved by voters this past November allows patients with cancer, HIV, and glaucoma to receive medical marijuana. Saturday is the deadline for the state to come up with guidelines for medical marijuana in Michigan. And tonight, Brian is talking to someone who knows a lot about this issue. Brian?
Sue, Greg Francisco is the executive director of the Michigan Medical Marijuana Association. Greg, thanks for coming in. He came in from Paw Paw, where your organization's based. How many members?
We have about 3,000 members.
Okay. We've got the sign up now coming up where you can apply for one of these ID cards. The state's expecting 50,000 people to apply over the next 2 years.
That's correct.
How many in the first week are we looking at?
Well, we think that there are about 500 patients that currently have current IDs, valid IDs, that will be ready to turn in, about 500 within the first week.
Greg, it's my understanding, as the law sits, and the Michigan Department of Community Health admits as much, they say it's not perfect. It doesn't say anything about how you acquire the marijuana, where you buy it from, where you get the seeds if you want to grow it, because all of this is still illegal. That is a huge chunk, it seems to me, of policy or legislation that should be addressed. Why didn't they touch it?
Well, those are serious flaws in the law, and it has to do with the conflict between state and federal law. We were able to push the envelope on the possession and the medical, but when it came down to distribution, that was just a little bit too much.
Also, somewhat of a misnomer. Some people might think that the pot shops will be setting up here in the state like they do in California. That's not going to happen.
That will not happen. Our law does not allow for commercial distribution networks, dispensaries like California. Those are not allowed under Michigan law.
This is going to be up for review. This law will be up for review in a couple of years. What changes as it stands now would you like to see take place?
Well, we would hope that when the legislature does review the law in 2 years, that they would look at not-for-profit cooperatives. We don't want the pot shops like California. Instead, we would like to have a model that's based on community, cooperatives, not-for-profit.
There is a big event going on next Monday at the state capitol. Tell us a little bit about what that's all about.
Well, we expect about 150 patients and then plus their supporters to turn out for this. Monday is the first day that patients can turn in their applications in person, and so we're going to gather, then we're going to carpool down to the department to turn in our applications, and I think it's going to be a really exciting event. We've worked 10 years for this, and this is a great thing.
As far as the application process goes, you need a couple of different things to happen. First, primarily, you have to have a physician signing off on that you have one of these 13 conditions that falls under this umbrella of using marijuana. Talk a little bit about that process and how is it set up with the state?
Well, the patient would go into their doctor. We would encourage them to go to a doctor with whom they already have a relationship. The doctor would evaluate that patient. Do they have one of the qualifying conditions? If they did, then the doctor would write a recommendation, which is not a prescription. It's simply a recommendation that in the doctor's opinion, the patient might derive therapeutic benefit from the marijuana. The patient would then take this recommendation. They would fill out the application, they would submit their fee, and send it all off to the state.
All right, Greg Francisco, still a very new law, somewhat very controversial. We'll be watching it over the next couple of years. We appreciate your time tonight.
Great, thank you.